Everybody, it's your girl Q1, and I am back with another episode of BMF Season 4, Episode 5. See it, touch it, mixtape. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Y'all make sure we are liking the videos. Y'all can say so I can stay in the algorithm of things. Alright? Alright. So we start the episode. Y'all know we always got to take a flashback to Mexico. I just want to ask, ladies, did y'all see Meech's little booty? Okay, little booties do matter. Okay, so they see a little kid in the bushes, Meech and Terry, and so when they saw the kid walked out of the bushes, but he wasn't really as audible as he was. He didn't. I don't think he even talked. They was like, "Who are you?" They was asking him that in Spanish. And so Loco must have saw them talking to the kids, y'all, because he came out that door, y'all, faster than Mexican music. Do you hear me? He was pew. Who are you? You know, he talked in their native language, and he yoked the little boy up, and Terry and Meech was like, "Yo, what's up? What you doing?" Yada 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 yada. And so Loco was like, he could be the federati, the federale. Sorry. And he said he don't trust it. Okay. Yoked them up. So I don't know if he unalived the kid or not. So Terry was like, listen, we do a lot of things, but one thing we don't do is kids. Okay. So Meech was like, I know he tripping. We got to go find out what that's about. So they went inside. So back in the current time, Meech had everybody over there. He was like, y'all, we gonna be launching Stomping the Ground Records. He said we ain't chasing taste buds no more, but we chasing earbuds. So they turned Purdy into a rap artist because that's what she wanted to be. And I realized marketing was so hardworking, it wasn't bad, but marketing used to be going from door to door, newspaper ads, TV ads, radio station, word of mouth. You know, like they was they was slinging them mixtapes. Like y'all remember, like whatever corner store you used to go to, they had people out there selling mixtapes, CDs, DVDs. Charlie's Angels, y'all listen. Okay. That was real marketing. I'm not saying that marketing isn't real now, but because we're in a electronic wave, whatever it is, that wave, and so everything we do is by phone, by social media, yada yada yada. People don't do door to door anymore. People don't do newspapers. People don't do magazines. People don't do newspaper ads. There are things that we no longer dabble into anymore, but I just want to point out the hard work of marketing before social media and before smartphones, okay? Anyway, so we get to the scene with Markeisha and Terry. Markeisha just, listen, I'm just so over Markeisha. She don't give nothing to me. Terry questions her. She claims she loyal. She lied about what she went to go see Boom about. But Terry's gonna find out the hard way, point blank in a period. And another thing, why did Lala have to get her lips done? Like, she was beautiful without all of that. Now she looked like a damn Kardashian. Okay. Anyway. So my boy Raw Dog, y'all know Charles is my boy. All right, Raw Dog talked to his boss about, him upcoming on his next tour. He was like, I really want to thank you for giving me an opportunity. His boss was like, I stuck my neck out for you. All right. He was like, I ain't doing it no more. So if it don't work, don't come back. I was like, you ain't got to be like that with Raw Dog. I don't like how you talking to him. Okay. So in the next scene, Nikki is in the bed with Worm. Man, why you in your mama bed? Where your mama at? Okay? Where is your mama and your daddy? Okay? So This one is laid up with that. Okay, so apparently they just got through from, because he asked her, something about, I'm sure the neighbors heard you yell. And I was like, anyway, apparently she done had a whole party in her house because somebody called Terry. Terry came in there, shutting down. All right. He walk in the room, worm hide. Like, if you man enough to, cause sister, be man enough to stand in that room with her. Like, don't hide. And so she's so dumb. So he looked. He was like, when you started smoking. And then he noticed some shoes on the floor. So he immediately, let me go to the closet because I know this is hiding in the closet. We not stupid. So he gave Worm a little 1-2, gave him a 1-2 tip, a little 2-piece, and threw him out of the room. So he told Nikki, if I catch him in this house again, I'm gonna unalive him. That's the point blank in the period. So at this point, y'all, Nikki wilding. Like, her choices are not smart for whatever reason. And I get, we young and we do crazy stuff, but she's not making the best of the best decisions. So I guess this is where we find out Lamar is still alive. We knew that he wasn't gonna be unalive, but at this point, where do we place Lamar as a character? Like, I know the first season, maybe the second season for a little revenge, but where are we placing him as the caricature in this? Because I'm confused. Every time he's angry, he's more, wanting to seek revenge. And at this point, he's living like Terry and Meech is living rent free in his head because they're not even worried about him no more. They've been moved to other and better places. So for me, I hope that this is Lamar's last season, only because I need the real person to, move on to something else. We want to see his other acting chops, but on here, there is no use. There is no purpose. There is no character development. Like, nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Like, not like that. But I just wanted to point that out. So they have like a little listening party for Purdy, just to kind of hear her song on the radio. It's 10 o'clock a.m. The song was supposed to go in rotation. And we find out that the radio station didn't even play her song. They played one of what's that nigga name? Trail. They played one of his artists' songs. So Duffy comes over. He tells Mish that he's leaving because y'all know Detective Vaughn has saw him, and so he was like, as long as I'm here, you guys are all in danger. Like, I don't wanna do that. Anyway, so in the next scene, we see Raw Dog talking to Cecilia about his tour. He was like, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm pumped up. She was like, I wish you all the best. He was like, no, come on. I want you to come with me. Okay? The way I will be packing up, and I don't think I would be able to do that either. Toe to toe with Raw Dog. I couldn't. But it sounded good. Anyway, Cecilia was like, wait. But we got to talk about that fight you had with my crazy ex. The man who used to knock me between the washer and dryer. Like, we ain't never talk about that. Like, we need to discuss that. And so Charles was like, listen. The nigga wasn't listening to the please or the thank you or how you doing or whatever. He wasn't listening to the niceties because he wanted to come step up to me, but he got dealt with. And she was like, but you almost unalived him. And that's a problem. Because you just said he was crazy. I handled that for you. So what's the problem? Okay? I just. So we get over to Trail, a.k.a. Puffy, a whole ass nigga. Alright? He tells them. First, Meech and Terry went to the radio station. It was like, you need to go talk to her ex-producer. So they go to Trail. He said he discovered Purdy, and at this point he retained the rights of Purdy to Purdy's public performances and without him signing that release, she could never hit the airwaves, or she could never hit any public stage because he has to sign a release. And of course, he's trying to quadruple charge them. He's trying to get over because he pissed off because they took Purdy from them. So at this point in the next scene, I'm just over Detective Vaughn too. Like these are people that are like loose ends that can just go, that have really no placement in here. They have no placement. So the officers arrested the stripper named Aphrodite. And so he gets into the questioning room with Aphrodite and just threaten her with her kids and CPS, because she already had 2 CPS cases. And so he threatens her because he wants to know Duffy's first actual name. It was just like, okay, I don't understand what all of this is about, but okay, we're gonna entertain it. So B Mickey calls Terry because he have B Mickey tailing who did B Mickey tail? Yeah, I totally forgot and I didn't write it down. It wasn't Markeisha. It was I want to say it was Jay Pusher. I think. But, you know, B Mickey explains to him like what's going on, what he saw. So B Mickey was like, listen, my daughter's having surgery, so I cannot stay. I have to leave. I have to go back home. So Terry was like, well, you can't leave until the job is done. B Mickey was like, I don't want nothing to happen. I wasn't at the hospital when my mom passed, and I'd be damned if something happens to my daughter and I'm not there. So father to father, I need to leave, and I need you to respect that. So Terry was like, bet, praying for your daughter, and that was that. Anyway, next scene, Raw Dog, y'all know my boy going back on tour, so he got to go get his guitar. So he goes to the pawn shop, get his guitar, and the man who he pawned it to, he raised the price up so Raw Dog can pay more. And he was like, ain't this about to... Like, you charging me for bringing this to you? You adding more money? You ain't... And he ain't. So Raw Dog looks down into the glass. Lo and behold, he's seen his wedding ring he gave to Lulu. He was like, let me see that ring. He was like, so the pawn owner was like, yeah, this fine red bone came in here and he pawned it. I wish I would have talked to her. Yeah, just talking. So the way when Raw Dog looked at him, he was like, oh, he realized that it was the ring that he gave her. He, connected all the dots. So in the next scene, and that was that on that. I just want to point out that hurt my boy feelings. Okay, my feelings was hurt. Okay, I ain't like it, but it is what it is. Y'all divorced, so I don't know what you wanted her to do with the ring. So in the next scene, Loco goes over to Meech. He tells Meech, hey, Pusha ain't your friend. And so Meech was like, well, what you talking about? Loco tells him that side meeting that Pusha was trying to have with him. And he was like, damn, I can't even trust him. But Meech, Terry been telling you couldn't trust Loco. So you couldn't trust Jay Pusha. I'm not surprised. So after that, we roll over back to the Flannery house. LaWanda goes into Nicole's room and was like, I heard about your party. She got mad. Terry always talking. So she goes and in the trash can. Okay? So LaWanda was like, baby, did you having a hangover? She was like, I ain't drank nothing, ma'am. You pregnant. Okay? All right. Nicole is flat out pregnant. Okay, we just don't know if she 3 months or if she about a month or 2 months. So if you 2 months, 1 month, that's that boy, that mouse or merch or whatever his name is, that's that baby. Now if you 3 months, which I don't think you 3 months, honey. I think she wanted to be, but this Lil Worm, okay? Big Worm and Lil Worm. And you about to be having Lil Worm baby, okay? Anyway, I just want to point out Maria. Maria is apparently in this scene. We find out Maria is from New Orleans. Is she though? Is she though? Because I'm from New Orleans, okay? And Maria don't give me that. Anyway, I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that go because y'all should have had an actual person from New Orleans to play this scene. But whatever. Or y'all could have pointed Maria somewhere else. Maria could have been from Florida, Alabama, Texas. I don't care, but not New Orleans. Okay. First of all, Maria could have been from Baton Rouge. Maria could have been from Shreveport. Okay? Just not New Orleans. She wasn't given that. I do not like Maria's voice. Ugh. Y'all, that squeaky voice aggravates me. And maybe because I always be on this little, I got a thick, heavy man voice. You understand? Not as heavy. You know, I got a little la 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 in there. But Maria, sis ain't from New Orleans. Okay? You heard me? I'm sorry, y'all. Sis ain't from New Orleans. Okay? That's all I wanted to say about that. Like, Boom is back. Boom got out of jail. He went to the house. Markeisha was surprised. He was like, "You surprised to see me?" Bent the right over, and Markeisha was like, "Yeah." I just was like, "Okay, whatever." So Meech goes to see Trail. Trail walked in his house. And at the end of the day, Trail signed them papers. Okay? Trail looked like he really wanted to cry. Trail trying to be that nigga, and I think he act like that because of the security guard that he got. Remind me of somebody who probably need to be in jail for all 5 counts, but only all 5, but not guilty for 2 of them. Okay. Anyway, that aggravates me. Anyway, sorry y'all. I'm sorry because I don't want to talk about this case. Anyway, so we found out Purdy's foster parents, because the ladies asked her, like, why do you want to do rap? Why don't you want to sing? Because you have such a beautiful voice. And I like this scene because it was like a sisterhood. I like this scene because they rallied around her and Purdy was able to tell her story. And in that moment, Purdy was actually able to be free. And I like that for her. So we found out that as a way to make money, her raggedy ass foster parents had her out singing in the streets. And I'm like, if y'all grown asses don't get y'all a job and stop using these kids to take care of y'all, I know something. Okay? That aggravated me. And so she then saw Trail, and she was like, Trail noticed her. Nobody didn't notice her except for Trail. So she thought, Trail was my angel and was my saving grace. Shout out to Drew Sadora. He was my saving grace. That, was his saving grace. But Trail ended up being the devil. And it was almost starting to feel like she was pimped out by her foster parents. And then Trail started pimping her out musically. I don't know if that's a thing. But, yeah. So in the next scene, y'all remember Lamar's cousin, the one that worked with the unalive, all right? He goes to see his cousin so his cousin can patch him up. He got mad at his cousin because we found out that his cousin helped Meech to find Lamar. And Lamar basically threw him in the burner thing. Y'all know how the people get cremated, they run them in a little oven, put them in there alive, turn the fire on. And I was like, Lamar is evil. Why is he here? He gotta go. Y'all, I'm sorry, like, we keep giving him an opportunity, but he rarely shows up he's rarely in scenes. There is no placement for him. Like, there is no placement for him. There is nothing life-changing about him. He's like this annoying presence that just shows up. Anyway, over at the hospital, B Mickey and his girl is at the at his daughter's surgery. He's there out in the waiting room, waiting for everything to happen. Lucille and Charles are there, along with them as far as support. And so B Mickey is like, he's getting antsy. He gets up, he gets frustrated and antsy. So Lucille was like, no, we're not going to do that. She can feel your energy. She didn't say that, but I think she said spirit or something. She can feel your energy from right here. So we really need to redirect and change that. And so Lucille was like, okay, let's just pray. And so after they finished praying, the nurse came out. She was like, hey, your daughter is fine. Surgery went well. She's going to recover. Like everything went good. And so B Mickey didn't realize. Oh wait. Okay. Yeah. That was that. So back at home at the Flannery house, Nicole pregnancy test says she is pregnant. She bust out crying and said, what I'm gonna do about my scholarship? And I was like, but you grown. Grown people figure that out. You grown. Figure it out. So LaWanda was like, consoling her, like, girl, don't worry about it. She said it's gonna be okay. LaWanda, gonna be okay. It's all good. So Nicole was like, how she gonna tell the young boy, her little boyfriend that went to Morris Brown, how she gonna tell him? So LaWanda was like, is it his baby though? Shout out to Kelly. She was like, well, is it his baby? She said, because you have been with Worm. And so Nicole just automatically assumes that this is the little dude who went off to Morris Brown, that was his baby. And she said that was 3 months ago. But sis, you are just now pregnant. You can't be a month pregnant and think that that's that boy's baby. There's little Worm. You got Big Worm and Little Worm, Little Earthworm Jr. Okay? So you can either, you got money, you over age, you want your scholarship, you want to go to school, you gonna have to, if you don't want this baby, you got to go to the shop. But y'all know back then, they made these young people have babies as a way of punishment. Like, I get it. The sin was in sleeping with them. But back then, adults did not give options to their daughters who were pregnant. And I just think that at those times, I just think all times you should have options. Mistakes are made, people do things, and young people, they just do stuff. Okay, they do. It is what it is. You live and you learn. And everybody may not agree with me, and that's okay. But yeah, you can't make somebody have a kid to teach them a lesson, because they'll probably never learn that lesson, or it may take them years to learn. And what lesson are you trying to teach them? So I don't know. So Lucille, since Lulu is the pastor, I'm assuming, I seen the clip from the next episode, she gonna find out with her being the pastor, that is something that you cannot do. Take yourself to the chop shop. I don't know. So we gonna see. Duffy gets arrested. B Mickey asks his girl to marry him, and Charles is the best man. Lulu officiates. And here go the other part. This pissed me off. Let me tell y'all, this starting to remind me of these episodes in Good Times. Whenever something good happens, something bad follow it. Raw Dog was training. Okay? He was training the dude. And so they was holding this heavy thing. It looked like, he worked for GM. So apparently it looked like an alternator carburetor. Okay? I don't know. It looked like the engine. It go in the engine part. Okay? So, as they was carrying it, Raw Dog was talking to him to tell him what to do. Hey, you got to do X, Y, and Z. So, when as they was carrying the part over to the next place, his manager said something loud. Raw Dog couldn't hear. He said "huh" and got distracted. When he got distracted, the dude let go of the whatever that thing was, carburetor, whatever that is, engine slash engine. And it fell on his hand. Y'all know Charles played the guitar, and it went down like black. It broke my boy's hand. I was like, why? And I just, he can't even work probably back at GM. Okay, my boy need his fingers. That pissed me off. Okay? That pissed me off. Okay? Because it always feel like an episode of Good Times. Something happened, and then you got to take a step back. You got to take a step back for something else to happen. I mean, they think I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing to say. You take 10 steps up, and you get hit like 5 steps back. That's what I wanted to say. I didn't like that. But whatever. We gonna roll through this. So it hurt my boy hand. My boy was like, I think my finger broken. My nigga can't go on his tour. Oh, Lord Jesus. Lamar done burned his cousin. And Trail sent his bodyguard to shoot up Purdy's album release party. They hit my girl Purdy. We don't know if she gonna make it or not. Okay? And I was like, my Lord Jesus, this was the end of the episode. Why y'all gotta do that to Purdy? She ain't deserved that, but we'll find out next week. That pissed me off. I was just thinking while I was watching this, Charles could have signed under Terry. What's the Terry and Terry and them label, Stomping Ground Records as a guitarist. Okay, y'all done messed up my friend plans. I don't like it. But whatever. I'ma see y'all in the next one. Bye.